In a world where nature's greatness meet the harsh realities of climate change, glaciers stand as sentinels of Earth's ancient history, majestic and inspiring. They have silently witnessed the passage of time for millennia. Glaciers, the monumental reservoirs of frozen water, hold many mysteries in it. Carved by time and nature's artistic hand, they decorate the Earth's surface, contributing to the breathtaking beauty of our planet. However, today they face an unprecedented threat, the relentless impact of global warming. The grace of these glaciers is challenged. Rising global temperatures, fueled by human activities, have triggered a dangerous journey towards oblivion. The delicate balance between accumulation and melting has been disrupted. Specifically, since the Industrial Revolution, carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases have raised the temperature. As the temperature rises, glaciers begins to surrender to the warmth. Rivers of meltwater cascade down, carrying with them the history and heritage of ages past, a somber reminder of the changes of our world is undergoing. Scientists claim that if emissions continues to rise unchecked, the Arctic will be ice-free in the summer as soon as 2040 as ocean and air temperatures continues to rise rapidly. The Himalayan glaciers, majestic and timeless, stand as guardians of nature's beauty and crucial reservoirs of life giving water. As the world marvels at its towering peak and calm icy expanses, we are reminded of the delicate balance and interconnectedness of our planet's ecosystems. These ancient glaciers have, for a period of thousand years, shaped the landscapes and nourished the lands and lives downstream, best owing a precious gift of fresh water to millions. Their stoic presence has inspired generations, capturing the imagination and reverence of all who behold their greatness. The Himalayan mountains are the third largest deposit of ice and snow in the world after the Antarctica and the Arctic. Himalayan glaciers are a critical component of the water supply in the Asian region, particularly for countries like India, China, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. These glaciers are located in the Himalayan mountain ranges, which spans across the several countries of South Asia. The glaciers in this region are significant because they act as a natural reservoir, storing water in the form of ice and providing a steady source of fresh water to downstream areas during dry seasons. Himalayan glaciers are often referred to as the third pole due to the vast amount of ice they contain. They play a crucial role in supplying water to major rivers like the Ganga, Indus, Brahmaputra, and Yangtze, which support millions of people for drinking water, agriculture, and hydropower. These glaciers, ancient and majestic, have existed for thousands of years but are now under immense threat due to the global climate change and human activities. Rising global temperatures are causing the Himalayan glaciers to melt at an alarming rate. Studies reveal that the region is warming twice as fast as the global average. Rising temperatures have led to accelerated melting and reduced ice accumulation, which threatens water availability in the long term. The accelerated melt can also lead to glacial lake outburst floods and other natural disasters. According to reports, the glaciers in Hindu Kush Himalayas are melting at unprecedented rates and could lose up to 75% of their volume by the century's end. The report found that the Himalayan glaciers disappeared 65% faster since the year 2010 than in the previous decade, and the changes to the glaciers, snow, and the permafrost of the region driven by global warming were unprecedented and largely irreversible. Studies found that around 200 glacier lakes across these mountains are deemed dangerous, and the region could see a significant spike in glacial lake outburst floods by the end of the century. At 1.5 or 2 degrees Celsius of warming above pre industrial temperature, glaciers across the entire region will lose 30 to 50% of their volume by the year 2100. At 3 degrees Celsius of warming, what the world is roughly on track for under current climate policies, glaciers in the eastern Himalayas, which include Nepal and Bhutan, will lose up to 75% of their ice. At 4 degrees Celsius of warming, that stats will increase up to 80%. Glacier melting increases the risk of natural hazards such as glacial lake outburst floods, landslides, and avalanches. Melting glaciers can create new lakes and destabilize slopes, leading to increased vulnerability in downstream areas. Glacial lake outburst floods occur when the water level of glacial lakes breach their boundaries, which can cause large amount of water to flow into nearby streams and rivers, creating flash floods. Glacial lake outburst floods can cause catastrophic destruction and loss of life in downstream communities. The sudden release of large volume of water can engulf settlements, infrastructure, and agricultural land, leading to fatalities and displacement of people. Farmlands can be inundated and destroyed during a glacial lake outburst flood, causing significant losses to agriculture. This affects the livelihoods and food security of the affected communities. The sudden discharge of water can lead to erosion, sedimentation, and altered river courses downstream, thus doing some environmental damage. It can also affect aquatic ecosystem, soil quality, and biodiversity in the affected areas. In the year 2013, on 16th and 17th June, heavy rainfall combined with melting glaciers of the Chorabari Glacier in the Indian state of Uttarakhand caused a breach of the Chorabari Glacial Lake in a glacial lake outburst flood, which resulted in an increased flow of the Mandakini River, flooding the Kedarnath Valley and settlements downstream and destroying the 14-kilometer pilgrimage route to the Kedarnath temple. On 4th October 2023, heavy rains caused the glacial South Lonak Lake in Sikkim, a state in India, to breach its banks, causing a glacial lake outburst flood in the Teesta River, which resulted in a rise in the water level in the river Teesta by 20 feet, causing widespread damage. Melting glaciers contribute to the river systems that millions of people rely on for their water needs. Major rivers like the Ganga, Brahmaputra, Indus, and Yangtze are fed by glaciers in the Himalayas. The timing and availability of water downstream can be affected by glacier melt. Initially, there may be an increased water availability due to melting glaciers, but in the long term, reduced glacier volume can lead to water scarcity during the dry seasons. Many communities in the region rely on glacier fed river for irrigation. Changes in water availability and timing can affect agricultural productivity and food security, impacting both local communities and larger populations. But despite these challenges, there is hope. A collective cry for action rises from the hearts of people around the world. Individuals, communities, and nations come together pledging to make a difference. Well, we still have the time to act and make a change. Preventing the melting of Himalayan glaciers is a complex and challenging task that requires comprehensive efforts at various levels, including policy, technology, and community involvement. Some actions that can be taken to mitigate the melting of Himalayan glaciers are: international cooperation and policy measures, encouraging international agreements and cooperation to address climate change and reduce global greenhouse gas emissions to limit global warming, which is a major factor contributing to glacier melting. Along with international cooperations, promote cooperation among the Himalayan countries to develop and implement joint policies and measures to protect the glaciers. The United Nations signed the Paris Agreement in the year 2016, an international treaty designed to keep the average global temperature well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. The United Nations Climate Change Conference held in Glasgow, or COP26, targeted global warming not to exceed 1.5 degrees Celsius and got about 140 countries to announce target dates for bringing emissions down to net zero. India has also joined the consensus and announced its net zero target of year 2070.
वर्ष 2070 तक भारत नेट जीरो का लक्ष्य हासिल करेगा।
Research and innovation. Government should invest in research and development of innovative technologies for carbon capture, sequestration, and geoengineering approaches to combat global warming and its impact on glaciers. Mitigation of greenhouse gas emissions. Encouragement for a rapid transition from fossil fuels to renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, and hydroelectric power to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Energy efficiency. Implementation of energy efficient technologies and practices across various sectors to minimize energy consumption and associated emissions. Like Mission Carbon Neutrality. Mission Carbon Neutrality. The Prime Minister of India on multiple occasions have reiterated that the Union Territory of Ladakh would be developed as a climate neutral region. The Union Territory of Ladakh receives one of the highest amount of solar radiation in the country and enjoys cloud-free days for most of the year. This provides a high possibility of harnessing solar energy. The Leh Airport in Ladakh is being built as a carbon neutral airport. Water resource management. Encouragement towards water conservation and effective use of water resources to reduce the dependency on glacial meltwater for freshwater needs, along with developing integrated water management strategies that account for the changing availability of water due to glacier melt and climate change. Like the project Ice Stupa, the Ice Stupa project. This was to resolve the issues of water scarcity in summer in Ladakh, which is known as the cold desert. Due to climate change, the region experiences hotter summers with an increase in melts along with shift in the timing and precipitation of the melts. Subsequently, during the spring season, water is more scarce, which in turn impacts the agriculture and food supplies. Ice stupa is a form of glacier grafting techniques that create artificial glaciers used for storing winter water in the form of conical shaped ice heaps. During summer, when water is scarce, the ice melts to increase the water supply for the crops. It was adopted, popularized, and scaled up by engineer, educator, and environmentalist Sonam Wangchuk in Ladakh, India, as a piece of art and reform.
In January, February, nobody needs water, so the streams flow and go into the Indus and into the ocean. Whereas in April, May, everybody, all plants, all humans are all dying for water. Yeah? And then there's acute shortage of water. What Ice Stupa does is by using winter water, storing it in the form of ice, and it melts exactly when there's this acute shortage. That spring problem is solved using winter water into ice that melts in spring, and then you're set.
Through innovation, education, and collaboration, we strive to reverse the tide of climate change. Embracing sustainable practices, we pave the path toward a future where glaciers stand strong and vibrant once again. The fate of Himalayan glaciers is intertwined with the future of our planet. We must act swiftly and decisively to protect this fragile ecosystem, ensuring a sustainable future for generations to come.